Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you so much, so much. Anybody has already hit that subscribe button, I really appreciate it. If you have not, this is the third episode in my 25 episode series of photography goals for 2020. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell so you don't miss when I post a new video, which will be every 2 weeks. Also, don't forget to like the video, share it, and comment, because I do comment back. So today's topic is start your photography business. I know for a lot of photographers that's kind of way out there for them. They don't think that they're ready yet. And I'll actually start this episode with telling you how I started my photography business. So I was living in Marietta, Georgia. I had a good friend of mine that worked with some DJs that DJ'd at local clubs. She was an assistant to one of the DJs. So she brought me in as her personal photographer. I had just recently been laid off from a major bank for like the third time, but neither here nor there. So I came in and started working with her to kind of be her assistant and her photographer. There used to be live shows and things like that, so I would capture that footage, and she would legitimately split half of what she made for the night with me, until they started calling me themselves personally and asking me to come in. So after that, I just kind of became a professional photographer. Like, it was not much thought to it for me. I had really always been the girl with the camera. Since I was about 14 or 15 years old, my family, my friends knew that if you saw me, I was going to have some type of camera for them with me. So even to this day, people can call upon me and be like, hey, send me that picture of when my kid was 3, you know, and their kid's like 21 now, and I have a print around here somewhere of their kid because they know I was the photographer. So we're gonna fast forward to today. I do now have a studio. It is a brand new 1 year old. Yay! She actually turned 1 last month, and I am pretty excited to be in a studio space. But I will also say that I absolutely love shooting at home in the comfort of my home. The only reason I really migrated out to a professional space is because I had more clientele that weren't personally friends of mine. And so, you know, at that point, you kind of don't want strangers walking in and out of your house. But, you know, when it was just friends, they'd come over, I'd slap up a backdrop, I had my lights, I had everything that I needed. We'd shoot, I'd be cooking, we'd eat, we'd laugh, they'd pay me. We were good. Like I said, I migrated to a professional space just so I can expand my business. And there are actually photographers in the area that rent my space sometimes because, you know, there are actually very few African Americans in this city that actually have a professional photography space. So I am one of a few. So how do you start your photography business? The first thing you're going to do is take a deep breath. It will be okay. I know that it sounds like one of the scariest things that you will do, but when I say when you love something, you just want to do it all the time, just do it. Take that deep breath and decide that today is the day I become a professional photography. Step 2, we're going to keep our gear simple. I have a lot more gear now than, of course, I did 10 years ago, but it's really been an accumulation of gear. Like I said in a previous video, I started out with my handy dandy SL1 because it was actually a very small and very lightweight camera that I could just take around. I was doing events at the time, so I needed something, you know, really small, really lightweight that I could just take around with me from club to club, event to event, get those quick shots and get out. I recently upgraded to a 5D Mark IV, but you know, that was, now I'm in a studio setting. I'm kind of doing more headshots and professional portraiture and maternity shots. So I decided to make that leap and upgrade. But I can honestly say I miss my SL1. You know, it was, what did I pay, about $400 for it. I was using a kit lens. Baby, I was getting paid. You know, that's never the issue, because you're the photographer. The photos are only as good as the person behind the button. So don't think you have to have all this fancy schmancy gear in order to be able to be considered a professional photographer. You hear a lot of things out there. You got to have a studio space. Your camera got to be this. You have to be making at least this amount. And I don't want to hear it. I don't care whether you have a tax identification number, because technically if you're a sole proprietor, your social security number is your tax identification number. So therefore you are a business. I don't care if you have a Kodak, if you're taking it to kids' birthday parties and mom's is giving you $50 at the end of the night and you delivering images, you're a professional. It does not matter. Stay on your course and do what you need to do. And be proud of yourself. Wherever you are in this journey as a photographer, be proud of yourself. Rule number 3, take your camera any and everywhere you go and take risks. Once again, I started out being an assistant to an assistant, bringing my camera into clubs where basically they prohibited cameras, so no one was getting in with a camera. But technically, because I was staff, they let me in. We would go around to just random clubs in the city, in Atlanta, in Marietta, and you know, wherever, Decatur, wherever, and just take our cameras and we would just shoot the crowd. We shot any and everything. I always had a motto: if I couldn't take my camera, I wasn't going. She knew if I got into the car and I had my camera with me, if they tell me I can't get in with my camera, I'm going home. I'm not here to party. I want to get these shots, get this energy, see this crowd. People start to notice you when you carry your camera around. They want to know who you are, what your name is, and things like that. Now, these days, unfortunately, I don't get to carry my camera around as much. For number one, it's heavy. It's number one. Number two, it's expensive. And if anybody bump it, I'm going to be mad. But I do carry it around a lot. I mean, I take it with me whenever I can, wherever I can. So that's it. Take your camera everywhere and take risks. Rule number 4, learn the basics. Learn the basics. So there's a saying in the photography world: learn the rules and then break them. Okay? So we're talking about that stupid exposure triangle: ISO, aperture, shutter speed. Learn it as best as you can. Keep learning it. Keep learning it. Throw it all away. The rule of thirds, I mean, you know, it's a rule, but rules were meant to be broken. So, you know, just do whatever you do. There are some amazing photographers out there. I really love street photography, event photography, things that are high impact, high energy, like I said, clubs, performances, things like that. You really don't have time to set up a shot when someone is mid-performance. You know, you can't stop a performer midway through the act and be like, hey, can you do this for me one more time while you get your exposure together and frame the shot? And I mean, you're just out there snapping. You're just out there snapping. And whatever photos it is that catch your eye, let them catch your eye. Post them on Instagram. Post them on Facebook. Post them on Twitter. Post them on LinkedIn. I bet you if they caught your eye, they'll catch somebody else's eye too. So learn the basics, learn the rules, then break them. Volunteer your time. When I first moved here to Chattanooga, I actually wasn't planning on continuing my photography career. I had settled on the fact that I was probably never going to pick up a camera again. I was just going to work a 9 to 5, have a nice quiet life. My best friend, found out that, you know, I did photography work, and so I would go to like events with her, like the back to school events, and she's a barber stylist, so I would go to events and competitions that she was in, and I would photograph while I was there, the crowd, her, any and everything. That goes back to take your camera everywhere, take risks, and volunteer your time. I was not getting paid. I was just there. I was going to be there anyway. So I brought my camera along with me. Once again, you begin to be noticed. Who is this young lady with the camera? You know, I don't like to stand back. They know, if you've ever seen any video of anything that I've done, I'm on stage with whoever is doing whatever. There's no, you know, keep it 6 feet away from, no. I'm right there up on you, because that's just the way that I am. When I have a camera in my hand, it's full steam ahead. Any other time, I'm in the background. But baby, once it's time to hit that shutter, it's a go. So volunteer your time, get your face out there, get seen. Make you some business cards. Start passing them out. Make your Instagram, a business Facebook. Just start posting things. Even you're gonna get better over time. I am so much better as a photographer today than, of course, I was 10 years ago. And to be honest with you, the things that have made me better are some of the smallest things, like learning to take my time, breathing through a session. Take a deep breath. My sessions range anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours, with the standard being an hour. I don't need a full hour to shoot, but I like to get most things done right in camera. So I like to take my time. It's a process. Know your client. Laugh with them. Talk with them. Ask them about themselves. Fix their hair. Fix their clothing, of course, with their permission. But, you know, you care. These are your images that you're going to be putting out there for the world to see. And word of mouth is a very powerful thing. So the way you treat someone, they expect that you'll treat others around them the same way, and that will determine whether they tell their friends and family about you. So, you know, choose a business name. How about that? What's your business name? I kept mine pretty simple. Victoria Payne Photography is what I've settled on after 25 years. This is where I am. But I have literally gone from when I first started shooting, I was Gotcha Pics. People still call me Gotcha Pics. They know me from way back in the day. Then I went to Photos by Victoria Payne. And now I have settled on the simple, streamlined Victoria Payne Photography. That's what it is. Choose a name. Like I say, it may migrate, it may grow throughout the years, but that's okay. Choose a name, get yourself out there, start shaking some hands. Practice. Read, learn, practice. Read whatever you can read. I would say the opposite side of that, YouTube. You know, if you don't have time to read, or you're not a big reader, that's okay. Audiobooks, Kindle, whatever it is out there, YouTube, all you gotta do is put it in one ear and go about your day. It soaks in, like osmosis. It soaks in. So learn, practice. Learn, practice. If I don't have anything scheduled, I got a million things around this house I can shoot. I can set up my lenses and make a little set and shoot those and see what it would look like this, and play with my different angles and play with my different lights and how the light reflects when I shine here if I want the shadows to fall this way. So just read or listen, learn, practice. Really think about your goals. Where do you want to take this? Right now, are we just having fun, which is totally fine, because if it was not fun, I legitimately would not do it. I'm not into just doing things for money. If that was the case, I would work at McDonald's, because McDonald's paid. So if I'm going to do something just for money, I could literally do anything. Photography is, when you really get into it, it's not inexpensive. So if it was not fun, I definitely would not be into it. So really think about your goals. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Take that block, that 5-year block, Chop it down to a year. Where do you want to be in a year? Where do you want to be in 6 months? Where do you want to be in 3 months? This is the first quarter of 2020. Where are we? What do I need to do this month to get to the 5 years? What do I need to do this week to get to this month to get to the 5 years? What can I do today to get to the 5 years? Take it in increments. Big goal, smaller goals. Steps is just tiny little steps along the way that will get you from A to B. Even when you're going somewhere in a car, you may have driven this route 1,000 times. But in order to get from here to the store around the corner, which is your goal, there are steps involved. You need to get in the car, pull out the driveway, turn left, turn right. There's a process with everything. That's okay. Start here and figure out how you're going to get there. Consider building your website. A lot of places have either hosting spaces that are free or for a very small price. So if you don't right now want to spend money on a domain name and things like that, which, I mean, to be honest with you, they're like, what, 15 bucks on Google, 15 bucks a year on Google for a domain name. They're minuscule in price. Start you a website. You know, there's so many options out there. Wix, SmugMug, Pixie Set, Squarespace. There are so many options out there. I personally love Wix. I have the need to control my own content, and so Wix is pretty much a drag and drop format, so I can make it look like how I want to look and go about my day. I can change my images in a snap. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. I have it all set up where if you want to buy additional prints, there's a shopping there. So it's build your website, okay? Just build your website, okay? Possibly start a photography blog. I mean, blogging's pretty cool. Take a photo, talk about it. I personally am not into blogging. I've done 2 blog posts that I don't even think are on the new website. I'm not really into blogging. I write, but I don't want to write about that. So, not a big blogger, but that if you like to write as well as photograph, start your photography blog. Take pictures. Go out there and, you know, take pictures if you're up north for the snow, if you're down south for the bugs, and write about them. Get it out there. Spread the word. Social media is your friend. I swear it is. I swear social media is your friend. There are so many platforms out there. Like I said, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, which is the old Musical.ly. So many Tumblr. People still Tumblr. Like, I still have a Tumblr. I'm not going to tell you what my Tumblr name is, but I still have a Tumblr. I don't post it anymore, but it's cool to look back at some of the things that I posted 8 or 9 years ago and look at them and be like, you know what? I was in a totally different space. So, start a blog. A lot of people ask, when do you start charging? I wouldn't say as far as when somebody starts offering, but as soon as somebody inquires about getting a shoe done, we're not going to say, oh, I'm just beginning, so no. Set your price and stick by your price. Don't let somebody tell you what you need to do and get caught up in the CODB, cost of doing business. Don't let them throw all these fancy acronyms around at you. Charge something, set your prices, you know what to do, go for it, and when somebody inquires, this is my price, either they want it or they don't. Charge what you feel like you are worth at the end of the day. So, that's there. Keep your chin up. This is the last and final piece of starting your photography business for 2020. Keep your chin up. Once again, my photography studio turned 1 last month. It was a rough 12 months. I foresee a rough 12 months ahead. But that's okay. That's okay. Most businesses fail. or close within the first year. That's okay if you have to start out in your garage, if you have to start out in your basement, if you have to start out in your living room, your dining room, public parks, meeting places. If you don't, that's okay. Keep your chin up. Remember those goals step by step. Where do you want to be? It was plenty of days I woke up and said, you know what? I'm going to open up me a studio. And I never did because it was not the right time for me. Because when it was the right time for me, I woke up one day with the idea. I shared it with my loved ones. They clapped, said, let me know if you need anything. I think I saw the third space and knew the moment I stepped in it, it was the space for me. And it's been uphill since then. Now mind you, it's been rough. I'm not saying that I may have had to push the car uphill, but that's okay. Because forward motion is better than no motion. Okay? So we're gonna work on these goals all of 2020. What was our first week, y'all? I got a cheat sheet. What was our first week? Our first week was learn to shoot manual. Where is everybody at with that? How are we doing with that? Do you already shoot manual? Are you still just shooting at auto? Do you even know what manual is? It's the little M button on the dial on the top of your camera. Have we tried it? Do we like it? Or where are we with that? So learn to shoot manual was number one. Number two, learn 3 things about your camera. So have we learned anything new about our camera? I'll tell you one thing, and this is so funny, because I've been doing this for a while, but I never went to school for it. Yeah, you know, like I said, I've been just picking up a camera for the last 20 years, so that's what I did. It's more like 30 years, but we're not gonna say that. I just realized, like the other day, I don't know, I was in one of the photography groups, and I love fashion, and real close up, headshots, makeup, stuff like that. I love like that high fashion, art couture type. I love to look at those type of photos. And I was doing a photo shoot for my girl Makisha. I was doing that photo shoot, and I was thinking about why I could not get the camera to focus on what I wanted to focus on at the length I was trying to focus from. And I may have been half asleep, and it just clicked and said, you know you can put your camera in manual focus, right? Y'all, I said I'm too old for this. I'm too old for this. But you're never too old to learn something new. Like, it just came to be like a revelation. Like, this whole time my lens was in auto focus, and I could have just flipped it on manual and got as close up on this young lady's face that I wanted to get. And so I learned that. That was one thing I learned. Number 2 thing I learned is about my directional mic. I actually use a Canon something or other. Yeah, I didn't realize that the little red button only flashes once when you turn it on. So I kept thinking that my battery was dead because it would flash once and then go off. And I thought that meant the battery was dead until I had to find a really thorough YouTube video on it, which was kind of hard. But yeah, I realized that means that it does have battery life, and it will not tell you how long you got before the battery actually goes dead. I bought a 4-pack, but anywho. But it flashes on and off, and that was it. So, yeah. That made me feel pretty dumb. But anywho, number 3. Did I learn a 3rd thing about my camera? Actually I didn't. So we're gonna stick with 2, and then when I come back next week, I'll give you a 3rd thing on what I've learned, because we're gonna double back on these. Learn to shoot manual. I'm already doing that, video as well as photography. I also shoot manual on my cell phone. I don't know if everybody has that capability. I have a LG V30, and it lets you shoot manual, and it's an awesome phone. I actually bought it for the cinematography aspects of it. It's an amazing phone, and it does so much for photography and cinematography wise. So you can actually shoot manual in it. So I actually shoot manual a lot with my cell phone. And I shoot raw with my cell phone as well. So that's one thing. Learn 3 things about your camera. I'm on 2. I'll bring one back to you the next time. Start your photography business. I did that 30 years ago. And here we are. Here we are. So I just want to thank everybody once again for tuning in and watching these videos with me. Like I said, this was the number one, which is not on this list, was do something new. And I'm still going. This is my 3rd video, so I'm still going with the do something new. I plan to do this 23 more times with you guys throughout the rest of the year. And I'm actually really enjoying it. You know, I'm enjoying this much more than I thought I would. I thought it would be really hectic to actually sit here and talk to a camera like somebody's actually watching. But then, you know, with you guys' response to the videos and everything, I'd be like, oh, they like me. Oh, thank you. So I want to say I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Go ahead, once again, hit subscribe. Tell all your friends, like, subscribe, share. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook under Victoria Payne Photography. I'll put the links down there. And that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in again.